Today we're working with, we're getting a little more practice with proportions. Proportions are used for problems like this where it says it requires 3/4 a cup of flour to make 6 cupcakes, and we need to figure out how much flour it would take for 9 cupcakes. So things like that are used for proportions. One of the ways you can tell to possibly be using a proportion is you are looking, if you see 3 numbers, there's a good chance that could be a proportion problem. All right. So basically what it is it's comparing 2 ratios. The ratios are going to be equivalent, but the problem is one of the 4 things on the proportion is going to be a blank, and that's what we're trying to find. When you set it up each time, we need labels to match. So if we have, let's say, dollars per hour, on the other side we should have the same thing, dollars per hour. All right, what's across should match, and what's on the same side should go together in the problem or in this scenario. That make a little sense so far? So if we go back, we got Kyle making cupcakes. The recipe requires 3/4 a cup of flour to make 6 cupcakes. He wants to make 9 cupcakes. How much flour will Kyle need? So when we set up a proportion, and everybody, every time, every problem today needs to be setting up a proportion. So when we set this up, we're just filling in our numbers. Usually they give you a ratio. It's not always going to say the ratio exactly like we see with the 2 dots or something like that. It could, but not always. So we got 3/4 cup of flour to make 6 cupcakes. That's our ratio. So we put that on one side of our proportion. We got 3/4 a cup of flour. It is very helpful and a very good idea to label your numbers. It doesn't have to be a full-on label. One letter usually works. We got 6 cupcakes. Then you're looking for what it's asking you and what the other number is. It's asking us how much flour. That means what we're trying to find is the amount of flour. And you see I make my flour match, both on top, each side. The other number they give us is the 9 cupcakes, so that has to match with the cupcakes. All right, so that would be how the proportion looks for this one. To solve then, you take the 2 numbers that are diagonal to each other. So in this case, that's the 9 and the 3/4, and you multiply them. The number that is diagonal from the blank, or a question mark in this case, is what you divide by. So to solve this, we're doing 9 times 3/4 divided by 6. And when you put that into the calculator, you could do that all at once. All right, so you can put in 9 times 3/4 divided by 6 all in one row, and it'll give you your answer. What we get? What do you say? 1 1/8. Any questions on that? All right, so this is one we had yesterday. We had a concession stand that serves hot dogs and hamburgers at a ratio of 3 to 2. Based on this ratio, how many hamburgers will be served if there are a total of 60 hot dogs served? So everybody on your boards, get the proportion. Let's get the proportion first. So we had this yesterday. A few people got stumped on it though. This is one where you label your numbers. You might need to use more than one letter. Hot dog and hamburger both start with H. All right, who has the correct proportion? Try. No, y'all were told already. We need a proportion for every one of these today. Sydney? No? Lacey? Alexandra? 3 over 2 on the left. All right. So you had 60 on the bottom. All right, so if we look, it says hot dogs and hamburgers. Which one came first, hot dogs or hamburgers? Hot dogs. So which number is hot dogs? 3. So if we put HD for hot dogs, HB for hamburgers, what's the 60? Hot dogs. Does that one work then? No, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work because our labels don't match. Kyle? Chastity?
3 over 2.
So we got 3 over 2.
3 is the hot dogs. 2 is the hamburgers. And then 60 hot dogs on top.
All right, there is our proportion. Every single one of these problems, y'all need to have that done first. Everybody clear on that? There are ways to do these problems without doing that, obviously. However, doing the proportion is going to help a lot with some of the other problems that we will be doing shortly. Every single problem, y'all need to write a proportion. Everybody clear on that? So who can give me the answer then? Judah? 40 is correct. 60 times 2, they're diagonal from each other, divided by 3. 60 times 2 divided by 3. That gives you 40. 40 hamburgers is the answer. Any questions on that? All right, we got the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 3 to 4. If there are 12 girls in the class, how many students are in the class? So this one's a little different, so pay attention. It gives us a ratio, 3 to 4. If it gives you a ratio like that, just make that half of your proportion. Okay, so I got 3 to 4, that's half my proportion. What's the 3? Boys. We know that because boys was first, girls was second, 3's first, 4's second. All right, the other number it gives us, 12. 12 what? 12 girls. What's it asking us for? How many students? Are girls students? Are boys students? So what that is, if it's asking for the number of students, that's asking like for a total. Does this proportion work? No. This proportion does not work. That's why we want to label these. It helps us to see that. The labels are different. It doesn't match. We need it to match. Okay? If you have a total on the one side, it's easiest to make a total on the other side also. Okay? So what's our total on the left side? 7. If it's a total, that's all you're doing is adding them up. So instead of using the 3 boys, we're going to use 7 total students. Okay? Everybody follow what we did there? So now we do 7 times 12 divided by 4. And that gives us 21 students in the class. Okay? Any questions on this? Yeah. There's another way to do everything in math. Yeah, you can do it that way and then add at the end, or you can add it. All right, go ahead, give that one a try. Get your proportion, then answer. All right, who can give me the proportion? Not the answer, the proportion. Lacey? Okay, that's half of it. That works. Everything matches. It's asking you how much. So what you're trying to find is a money number. That's what you don't know. Now who's got the answer? Try. $3.96 is correct. Any questions on that? As you get the hang of it, these are pretty easy to set up. You just got to make sure things match, okay? It's 6 oranges for $2.16, so you can see how that goes together, right? If you're buying 6 oranges, it costs $2.16. We put that on one side. Then on the other side, it's just a matter of making the tops and the bottoms the same. All right, we got the ratio of peanuts to raisins in a snack mix is 5:4. A bag of snack mix contains 200 peanuts. How many raisins are in the bag? So get your proportion first and then figure out how many raisins we got. All right, Sydney, give me the proportion. We got 5 peanuts. What do you say? 4 raisins on the bottom. Okay. 200 peanuts on this side, on the top or bottom? Top. We need it to match. So we got 200 peanuts. It's asking for raisins, so that works. Jacob, what'd you get then? 160 is correct. We got 160 raisins. That's the correct answer. Okay? Any questions on that? As I've said already, there is more than one way to do a lot of these problems. Some of these problems you can do probably pretty easy without a proportion. However, we will get problems this year. You'll get problems next year, problems in 8th grade, where you have to be able to do it with a proportion. It's going to give you harder numbers to work with. It is best if you get into that process with these easier ones in 6th grade, okay? So everybody's going to be writing proportions, every problem, all day long.